If you're in sales, you know this feeling all too well. The deal that was a sure thing suddenly goes completely silent. Now, for years, we've been told the traditional sales funnel, awareness, evaluation, decision, is the path to success. Well, I'm here to tell you that that map is officially obsolete. Today, we're going to explore what's really going on and where the real action is. Let's pull back the curtain on the new map to closing a deal. First things first, let's start with a number that should honestly stop every single sales leader in their tracks. According to research, a whopping 91% of B2B purchases stall at some point in the process. Think about that. 91%. That's not just a small leak in the pipeline. That's a sign the whole system is broken. So, this brings us to the big question, right? The one we all ask ourselves during those frustrating pipeline reviews. Why? Why do deals that have all this positive momentum just fizzle out?
Well, here's the thing. The answer isn't that your product is wrong or that your pitch was bad. The answer is that the most critical parts of the entire buying process are happening where you can't see them. They are taking place in a hidden journey your buyers on inside their own company. So to really understand this hidden journey, we first have to agree to officially retire the old sales funnel. Let's take a quick look at why that neat, clean, linear model just doesn't work anymore. Just look at the sheer scale of this invisible world. The reality for modern sales is that a massive 83% of the buying journey happens without a sales rep even in the room. Your buyers are doing their own research, they're having internal debates, and they're forming really strong opinions long before they ever pick up the phone to call you. Okay, next up, let's talk about how to decode the stall. Instead of seeing it as a dead end, we need to start seeing it for what it is, a signal of intense, unseen activity happening behind the scenes. So what's really happening when your buyer goes quiet? I promise, your champion isn't just ignoring you. They might be trying to get political cover from their VP, or maybe they're trying to wrangle the finance and IT departments to get on the same page. Heck, a risk officer you've never even heard of could be digging into compliance issues, or the whole team might be debating if your project is even a priority right now. These are the real roadblocks. Now for the good news. This chaos, it isn't random, not at all. Research shows that buyers predictably go through 5 hidden steps that most sellers completely miss. So let's break them down one by one. And here they are, the 5 hidden steps. Think of this as our new map. We're about to explore each one of these stages in your buyer's invisible journey. First up is internal problem validation. Okay, so you've just had a great call. You feel like you've totally solved their problem. But the moment you hang up, boom. The real conversation begins inside their head and with their colleagues. They start asking these really tough questions. It's not even about your solution yet. It's about whether the problem itself is big enough to even deal with. And right here is the split between average and elite performers. Most reps, they hear a buyer describe a problem and just assume that means they have internal conviction. But top reps, they know better. They proactively arm their champion with the story and the numbers to spell out the massive cost of doing nothing, making that problem impossible for the rest of the company to ignore. All right, next up, priority competition. So even if the whole team agrees the problem is worth solving, that's still not enough. Your project now enters a kind of corporate Hunger Games, fighting against every other initiative for a slice of the same limited budget and leadership attention. Most reps completely miss this part. They just pitch the value of their solution in a total vacuum. But the top reps, they understand the competitive landscape inside the company. They help their champion build an airtight case for why solving this problem delivers way more value than all the other shiny objects on the table. And now for hidden step number 3, risk calibration. Get this, for 77% of buyers, the fear of making the wrong choice is a huge, huge factor. Before they move forward, they are quietly gaming out everything that could possibly go wrong. We're talking implementation headaches, political blowback, you name it. This is such a classic trap. An average seller sees enthusiasm and just assumes all the fears have magically disappeared. A top performer does the exact opposite. They bring the risks out into the open. They say, look, here's what might go wrong, and here's our plan to deal with it. That kind of transparency builds an incredible amount of trust. Okay, on to hidden step number 4. Stakeholder synthesis. And the key number to remember here is 11. That's the average number of stakeholders involved in a major B2B purchase today. 11 different people with 11 different priorities and perspectives that your poor champion has to somehow get aligned. Now, most reps make a critical mistake here. They just assume their champion can perfectly remember and repeat their brilliant sales pitch to all those other stakeholders. But top reps know that is a recipe for disaster. They act more like an architect, giving their champion specific talking points tailored for finance, for IT, for legal, making it super easy for them to build that internal consensus.
And this brings us to the final hidden step, path to yes construction. Even when everyone is on board and they want to buy, the buyer often has no clue how to actually get the purchase approved. They have to figure out their own company's confusing internal deal cycle, like who needs to sign what and in what order. It's a maze.
It is a huge mistake to assume the buyer knows how their own procurement process works. A lot of times, they don't. Top performers don't just sit back and hope for the best. They actively co-create that buying roadmap with their champion, mapping out every single milestone, approval, and document needed to get from a verbal yes to a signed contract.
So we've diagnosed the 5 hidden steps that are probably derailing your deals right now. So it's time to talk about the solution. This is all about moving from being a passive seller to an active guide. This is your new playbook. This framework gives you a clear path forward. For every single hidden step we've talked about, there is a proactive strategy. It's about turning simple problems into powerful stories. It's about positioning your solution above all the internal competitors. And it's about addressing risks head-on. This is how you empower your champion and literally co-create a clear path to yes. You are now actively managing the journey. And when you adopt this new playbook, the results aren't just small improvements. You gain a fundamental, strategic advantage over all your competitors who are still stuck selling to that obsolete linear funnel. And the payoff is immense. Your forecast accuracy goes way up because there are no more surprises. Your sales cycles get shorter because you're preventing those stalls before they even happen. You create real differentiation because almost nobody else is helping the buyer this way. Your champion becomes more powerful, and ultimately, your win rates just go up. It's that simple. So I'll leave you with this one final thought to reflect on. Take a really hard look at your sales process. Are you truly selling to the messy, complex, hidden journey your buyer is actually on? Or are you still selling to the simple, linear one you wish they were on? Because the answer to that question will define your success.